Eddie Sutton Show with Rob Bromley. Brought to you in part by Ashland Oil, Valvoline Oil Company, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kentucky, the one you've always trusted for quality healthcare protection. Coca-Cola. In Kentucky, there are two great traditions, Coca-Cola Classic and the Cats. Golden Flake Snack Foods, one taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake. And by GTE.
The Coach Eddie Sutton Show, brought to you by First National Bank of Louisville, where you'll find a UK Visa and MasterCard. And by Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
The championship of the 35th annual UKIT on the line this weekend at Rupp Arena. The Wildcats going after their 27th title. And you know, 1 week ago we were sitting here on the program talking about winning close basketball games. And the Wildcats have certainly been able to do that under Eddie Sutton. Little did we know there would be another close one to talk about. The Cats with victories this weekend over the Miami Redskins and UNC Charlotte. And Eddie, congratulations. You wrap up another UKIT and take the trophy back to the Coliseum.
Well, thank you, Rob. We actually had two close games this weekend. We beat Miami of Ohio 85-71, but the game was much closer than that.
Absolutely.
With about 7 minutes to go, we finally broke the ball game. And then last night, that was a barn burner. I'll tell you one thing, I'm ready for a blowout. I know the fans like those close games as long as we win, but two teams that really played well. That might have been the best game they'll play all year long, Miami and North Carolina Charlotte. Last night, I've never seen such perimeter shooting as they put on. But we won the ball games, and I'm very proud of the basketball team from the standpoint that we had just come off of two emotional wins over Indiana, over Louisville, two previous Saturdays. We were right in the middle of final exams, never had the entire squad there for one practice session. We always had one or two or three guys missing, and I think that's the one thing we must always remember. They are students first, they're athletes second, and so we do allow them to miss practice. We have to cut back practice time, so we didn't have the practice sessions that we really wanted to have, plus the fact physically and emotionally, when you go through finals, and anyone that has done that, they know how tiring it can be. So you never know how a team's going to play when you get to finish with final examinations, plus the anticipation of Christmas. The guys, we're going to let them off for a few days, and I know they were excited about that. So they did show some class and character the way they fought against two very much inspired basketball teams. I thought everybody came out after us with their six guns blazing, regardless whether you're number one or not. Yeah, that's just Kentucky when somebody plays us. But I really believe that those two teams played as well as they'll play all year long.
Well, certainly our congratulations go out to Winston Bennett, who was named the tournament MVP. Also, congratulations to Rex Chapman and Ed Davender, who are on the all-tournament team. And another fellow who put together a heck of a ball game in the championship game against UNC Charlotte, Richard Madison. He has been somewhat hobbled by a foot injury. 16 rebounds and 9 points against UNC Charlotte, and I had a chance to talk with him after the game.
Starting off with the injury and coming back was kind of slow for me, but I knew sooner or later the foot was going to get well and I was going to be able to put pressure on and jump off of it, because for the first couple of games I was trying to jump off one leg. I was trying to do things that you need 2 feet to do, and I was trying to do it off one foot, and I was making a lot of mistakes. And it wasn't because I was, not hustling or anything, because I couldn't put any pressure on my foot, but I had a while to recover, and I missed a couple of days last week because of the flu and class tests. And I mean, it really helped me to get off my foot, and I really felt great about it. And last night I didn't play a lot, but I had a meeting with Coach Sutton this morning, and he just told me he had a lot of confidence in me. He was going to give me an opportunity to come out and play.
Well, that he did come out and play, and there's a fella, Eddie, who could make such a big difference, be a big factor in this season.
He certainly can. We've all seen Richard play so well at times, and he has been a slump, and there's reasons for that. He has missed about 20% of our practice sessions since we began practice on the 15th of October due to illness, due to injury, and we had a heart-to-heart talk yesterday before the ball game. His uncle Herb, who raised him during his high school days in Memphis, was involved in that meeting. And we told Richard that we had not lost confidence in him to go out there and play tonight, and I outlined some things I wanted him to concentrate on. And I've never seen a performance like he put on as far as rebounding. 16 rebounds. He had 11 offensive rebounds, I believe, and had 11 rebounds in the first half, and really carried our basketball team for a while. And it gives us a new dimension. I talked about one of the great things I thought this ball club would have his bench strength. And if Richard can play like he did last night, Jenkins didn't play as well as he had the two previous Saturdays, but we know he can play. It just looks very, very bright as far as the ball club, as far as our bench is concerned. But very pleased, very proud of the performance of Richard Madison.
All right, the game was a barn burner, a nail-biter. The championship of the UKIT, UNC Charlotte against the Kentucky Wildcats. And we'll be back with the highlights after this. We go now to the highlights of the championship game of the 35th annual UKIT. It is the Kentucky Wildcats against the 49ers of UNCC. And a nice feed there from Ed Davender to Rex Chapman, but it seemed as though, Coach, everything you did, the 49ers had an answer to. This is in the early going.
This is Dinkins there, fine player. He's not only a great offensive player from the standpoint of being able to score, but he also leads your team in assists. He's been averaging about 6 assists a ball game. Very, very good quickness. Great defensive play by Ed Davner.
He just picked his pocket and went in for the layup, and at that point you were up by 3. It was 29-26.
Our defense forced them into 19 turnovers, and that was one of the major reasons we were able to win, and Dinkins did have 8. So Davner, even though Dinkins got 28 points, Ed still had a supreme effort there, and great defensive performance by him. And there's a great outside shot, 10 out of 15 from that range.
Unbelievable.
I've never seen anything quite like that. Last year when we beat Louisville, we had some good perimeter shooting from three-point range, but not that type of consistency.
Now, that one was hit by Frank Persley, the young man out of Scott County High School, and they were up by 7, 42-35, but right before halftime, you knocked some points off that lead.
Good feed by Davner to Bennett. He fumbled the ball, but recovered it and then put the basket.
And a big tip by Richard here.
There's what he did all evening, and again, a great performance by Richard.
So it was a 3-point game at halftime, 42-39, and it was nip and tuck the rest of the way.
Good defensive play by Rex. He came over and doubled on Jenkins, and our defense got us an easy 2 on the break.
And again, we'll see your defense here, Eddie, as Davender strips this one away, and Rex is able to go in right there. The strip by Ed, and Rex goes in this time for the dunk.
I've never seen the crowd any better than what we saw last night, Rob. I really believe that they were the sixth person, and that's what we need to have every night we go in the Rupp Arena.
Now check out this play by Winston. We're going to see a replay here. That's a double pump in the lane, an acrobatic move by Winston Bennett.
Winston had 17 points, and very, very nice move here. Great control of your body. Came in, the defense challenged the shot. He shifted the ball and was able to bank it off the glass.
He got ahead by 4, but then Bellamy got a steal, and right there with that layup, suddenly they were back to within 1. It was 69-68.
They just wouldn't roll over and play dead. We made the good plays, but they did too.
Big play by Eric Manuel, a freshman.
Eric continues to improve and played very well in both games over the weekend.
Now that dunk put you ahead by 5, and then they came up with, guess what, another 3-pointer. That one by Persley, and the game was tied 73-all with 4:50 left to go.
Persley showed great poise, and I know everybody over in Scott County is very pleased and proud of him.
Dinkins scoring there underneath. 4 minutes to go in the game. It was tied at 75. Ed nailed a 3-pointer there with 2:38 left to put you ahead by 1. You're up 78-77. And then a Rex hitting here with just over 2 minutes left to go. You're up by 3 at 80-77. And you had about a 4-point lead going down to the wire here as Rob Locke got a putback. This is with 1:20 to go. It is 82-78, but they still came back.
As I said, they wouldn't quit, and I know Jeff Mullins and their staff's very proud of this ball club. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the Sun Belt. Vic Bubas had told me, who's the commissioner of that league, that they, along with Alabama and Birmingham, would probably be the favorites, and I can see why.
Now, the 3-pointer by Dinkins there pulled them within 1, and then they were able to get this rebound, and we're under a minute now. They call timeout. Dinkins had that cramp in his leg, which gave him a problem, but
I was hoping that he would stay on the sideline, but he didn't come in at that point, but he did come back when 11 seconds to go. Another good defensive play by Ed Davner. Got very quick hands and does knock a lot of balls out of the hands of the opposition.
And another timeout, and they got Dinkins back in the game for the last few seconds.
We told the team, as I've said so many times, it isn't the first shot that beats you in last-second situations like this. It's the second one. Our defense is excellent right here. we felt like that West traveled right here on the play, and he did travel. And then we felt like right there that the man went over Rob Locke's back, and there was a foul, and the films will prove that. And I know they were upset on this last play, so that's what I wanted to point out. The officials don't always make the right calls.
Right there, it was called a travel. Jeff Mullins took off his glasses and threw them on the court. He thought it was a foul.
Don Ferguson made that call. He's a very fine official in the SEC. But there were two calls that led up to that play would never have been made. And again, it could have been called a foul on us. He could have been pushed right there. They made the call that he traveled. He fumbled the ball. So officiating has a chance, or it always evens out. That's what I'm trying to say over a season playing. And again, I want to emphasize in this ball game that we got 3 bad calls right down the stretch. Madison got stripped at one end. We came back. Our defense was excellent in that last second situation. West traveled the ball. Our defense did a great job to get the ball on the missed shot. Locke got fouled, and there at the end, it could have been a foul on us, but that's basketball. That's just the way it is. Over a season's play, you get as many good calls, you get bad ones, and that's what we tell our players. Officiating doesn't beat you. The one thing I would want to emphasize, and that's why it's so important, late in the ball game, you don't have time to recover from a play like that. Whether it's a missed free throw, it's a turnover, or it's a missed call by official. If it happens early in the game, time is on your side. You can recover, and I think that was the reason why they were so upset, because they didn't have time to recover from that one particular play. But a great college game. I told my wife on the way home that if you were just a fan of basketball and you weren't emotionally involved, that was one of the best I've ever been in.
Well, it was Kentucky 84 and the UNCC 49ers 81 in the championship of the UKIT. We'll have some post-game comments coming up and also talk a little bit about Kentucky's victory over Miami when we come back. So stay with us. We'll return after this. Welcome back, and let's go to the post-game interview room now, and this is how UNC Charlotte coach Jeff Mullins saw the closing seconds of last night's game.
Well, we just ran our out-of-bounds play, and Dink has an option to go outside and catch the ball, which he'd been doing most of the night. He made a great read and went inside. I'm sure some of you gentlemen on the press were sitting under there, had a better view of it than I did, but I know he doesn't walk unless he's pushed. Anybody who saw him catch the ball, he has a great pivot foot. That's all I'll say about that. But, some guys travel and some don't. Rob Locke travels, if you watch tonight, okay? When he catches the ball in the post, he travels. But that's basketball.
I don't really know. He got called for a couple walks last night, didn't he? We saw it on film today. We watched the whole film, and I couldn't really see it. I was kind of blocked out, but the referee made the call, and there was a couple of them there late in the game that could have gone either way.
Like Coach said, I had an option to pop out and catch the ball, but I saw that he was playing me outside, so I took him inside, and you saw what happened on the last play.
What did happen? Were you just blatantly pushed, or?
I don't want to say. The referee made his call, and that was it.
Kentucky played great. They got balanced scoring. Bennett is a great player. Chapman's a great player, and Davender made Dink work defensively. When he's given that much offensively, he really made him work, and he's a great guard. We said going into the game that he's an underrated, probably, I think, one of the most underrated guards in the country. The other one's right here on my right. Hopefully an evening like tonight, people will understand what a good ball player he is.
All right, that's how Jeff Mullins saw it, and really he was very, very complimentary of your basketball team, Eddie.
Well, I know he's disappointed in losing, but he ought to be very proud of that basketball team, and they're going to have a great season. I remember 2 years ago we played Pepperdine in a championship game, and Pepperdine went on and I believe won 23, 24 ball games. His team's going to win a lot of games this year. Everybody walks, by the way, but Rob, I don't care who it is, and I thought that Rex really came back with a great line there. And he talked about Rob Locke. Rob Locke didn't play as well in the tournament as he had been playing, but he has really given us great play in the pivot area.
And let's go back to Friday evening now. Kentucky's opening game in the UKIT as the Wildcats took on the Miami Redskins. And, Eddie, we pick up the action here in the second half.
Outstanding pass by Sean Sutton to Eric Manuel. I'm very pleased with the progress our freshmen are making, Rob. We've got an outstanding freshman class.
This was a 4-point game at halftime, and when Claiborne hit that shot there, it was 61-60, and then Winston Bennett with that career night that he had, 28 points. Right here, Eddie, you started to pull away from it.
They played triangle and two, trying to stop Davner and Chapman, and Bennett just took up the slack, and we're going to see some junk defenses like that, and that's what has allows this ball club to be great, because we got other players who can score. We know Winston can. Madison, Jenkins, Locke. We've got good balanced scoring. That's important. This ball club played with great intensity. Their outstanding guard, Newsom, did not play because of a hand injury, and he, too, is one of the outstanding guards in the country. He's been averaging 25 points. And many times a ball club, when their star doesn't play, the rest of their players just play that much better. I know they're very proud of the ball club, the way they performed in this game. If they play like that, they'll be reckoned with in the Mid-American Conference.
Winston Bennett with 28 points, and the Wildcats win that opening game on Friday evening over Miami of Ohio. Final score there was 85-71. We will continue in a moment, so stay with us. Certainly everyone is still buzzing about last night's ball game, but let's not forget that Christmas is just around the corner, and Dave Baker went out to get the players' perspective.
Besides how bad's Kentucky going to win tonight, the most often asked question at this time of year is, what do you want for Christmas? So instead of talking to the Cats about another opponent, we thought we'd pose that same question to them. And as you might have guessed, wide diversity of answers. From the traditional,
I would like to go home for Christmas and to get out this weather in Lexington and to go see my grandmother and my family. And in one wish, I would like for Christmas to get the one and only, the SEC ring.
For Christmas, I like an AM economics exam, and I like a ticket to Pensacola Beach, Florida.
My Christmas wish is to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and that the Wildcats keep winning in '88.
For my Christmas wish, I hope that my family has a happy and healthy year, and that we make it to Kansas City.
When I wake up Christmas morning, I would like to look under the Christmas tree and find a letter from Santa Claus saying that the Cats will be in Kansas City come March.
And for me to wake up next morning to find up on the Christmas tree that said for all the players to be healthy, and that Kentucky NCAA championship.
I think my Christmas wish would be that if I could, I'd have all my friends in California flown here to Lexington so they can see what the weather is like, for one. And also I'd have a big party for them and all the friends that I've made here in Lexington together at Christmas time.
To the personal,
for this year's Christmas, I'd like to have a new wallet to carry all the money, I mean lots of money, that I've won off my dad's golf course the last 3 or 4 years.
If I could have one Christmas wish, I would have to wish that all elbows were still clear of my nose.
To the silly.
All right, I wish that we'd all have a happy year this year, be healthy and safe, and that I wish Reg would learn that if he's going to get me like spray shampoo all over me when I have all my clothes on, that he can't get me last as well as get me first. I have to have the last laugh if he gets me first.
My wish for Christmas is that my roomie Rex will have a lot of patience on trying to get me back for squirting him with shampoo, because I would always have something up my sleeve waiting on him.
If I could have one Christmas wish, it would be to wrestle the infamous Hulk Hogan, the World Wrestling Federation champion, because he has nothing for me. And if I was to win, I would get his infamous championship belt, and if he was to win, which is not possible, he would get my maybe not so infamous number 44 jersey. And with Dave Baker, the big Dave Baker in my corner, I'm assured of the victory.
To the things kids can only ask their parents for.
Well, I would like to have a big Alf doll for Christmas.
This Christmas, Dad, I know you're watching, and we discussed it a few times, and I know you're tight with BMW and say you're one, so this Christmas, I'd like to see a BMW with a phone in it under the Christmas tree. I think you can do it. You can pull it off, I think.
Come to think of it, I bet one of those white Nike sweatsuits would look good on me. Think you could put in a good word with Santa, Coach? Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, Eddie. What about that?
Well, I want to take this opportunity to wish all of our great fans a happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and a very happy New Year.
All right, we'll be back with a final word after this. And let's take a quick look now at our Big Blue top 10 for this week. The Wildcats remain on top, followed by Arizona, Pitt, North Carolina, and Wyoming is now up to number 5. Here's the second 5, Duke, followed by Syracuse, Temple, Florida. Indiana dropping down to number 10 after that loss to Louisville. But there are few unbeaten teams that are not there.
The only 2 undefeated teams that we don't have in our top 10 would be Oklahoma and Nevada, Vegas, but there are a lot of teams that have lost only once or twice. Just a lot of good college basketball teams, Rob.
Some good news, Coach, as far as graduation this past week.
Well, the reason that our young men come to the University of Kentucky, first is to get a degree, and second to play basketball. And this week we got the good news that Cedric Jenkins graduated in 3.5 years, and I've never had a player do that before. Congratulations to him, and Winston Bennett, too, completed his requirements, so we'll have 2 grad students here at the University of Kentucky next year playing basketball for us.
We're not going to be with you next week because there is a break in the schedule, but we are going to return on January the 3rd. That's when our next program will be. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and here's your Christmas card, Eddie.
Great Christmas card, great group of young men. I'm proud to coach them.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
The Eddie Sutton Show with Rob Bromley. Brought to you in part by Ashland Oil, Valvoline Oil Company, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kentucky, the one you've always trusted for quality health care protection. Coke, catch the wave, Kentucky. Enjoy Coke. Golden Flake Snack Foods, one taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake. And by GTE.
The Coach Eddie Sutton Show, brought to you by First National Bank of Louisville, where you'll find a UK Visa and MasterCard. And by Hardee's, we're out to win you over.